Hello, this is the Money Puzzle. I'm Eric Douglas.
And I'm Aaron McAndrew.
Yeah, and we're with Family Wealth Planning Partners. Thanks for watching. The topic for today is your insurance salesman is not your financial advisor. So this came up as a topic. Aaron and I were discussing some things that we wanted to go over today. And he had a story that he had relayed to me that really made just an absolute world of sense to me as far as something, a reason why we needed to make sure that we broach this topic today. So, I'll let you take it away, Aaron. And
So I have a client of mine. This is a group client, so a school district client, that their contact reached out to me and shared an email with me that they had received that had been sent to their entire staff. So their entire staff are participants in their retirement plan, their district retirement plan. So when this email was sent out, it was sent from an insurance agent, a licensed insurance agent, life and health annuity agent. Okay. And the email basically was trying to get them to meet with him, and came off as if he was a qualified financial advisor for the school district to meet and talk with them about their teacher retirement benefits. So as I'm reading through the email, I'm looking at this, and the contact from the district sent me an email and says, "Who is this person? I don't know why we're getting this." And so I looked into it. I looked the person up, and the person is not even securities licensed. So they're just an insurance. They are an insurance agent. They are licensed for life and health, but they don't have securities license. So they're wanting to set appointments up with these participants when they're retiring and talk them into moving their money into some sort of an insurance product is really their goal here.
Yeah, well, to be clear, too, when you say they're not securities licensed, that means they're not licensed or qualified to speak about anything as it relates to stocks, bonds, investments, really of any kind.
Correct. Yep. Which most people in retirement accounts, that's what you're speaking to. So you're speaking to mutual funds or some sort of investments that are inside of those retirement accounts. So really it's, hey, let's meet with that email was, hey, let's meet with me, discuss what your when you're going to retire and what your options are for your retirement. And it's, was to get these people to meet with them, and they were going to talk them into putting them into some sort of an insurance product in retirement. So
how was it that they got into the schools, or was it just got on some list somehow?
I'm wondering if it wasn't just that there was a list that they bought a database or and just started blasting it out to emails. But that's what I'm wondering, if that wasn't the case there. But the district shut it down immediately once that happened, and basically sent out to everybody that this isn't real. Don't
so it
do
wasn't
this.
So it wasn't a partner of the school district.
No,
then,
it was not. They didn't know who it was or anything. But it made, as we're talking, it made us believe, and the school district believed that, hey, people could look at this as legit, sign up for this thing, and the person was a legit insurance agent. They just were not a financial advisor.
And it's always interesting in our business because most people don't really truly understand or know the difference between a financial planner, a financial advisor, an investment manager, and an insurance salesman. I think to the average lay person, they think that we all kind of run together and do generally the same thing. If you're in the industry, there's nothing farther from the truth.
Correct.
So, another example, this is an extreme example to illustrate what I was just talking about. There is a certain property and casualty insurance company out there. Actually, there's a couple property and casualty insurance companies out there. Now, property and casualty, home and auto. Who do you go to get your home and auto insurance from, right? So you can think about the biggest names out there, and I'm probably talking about a couple of them. I'm not going to name them by name. All that to say, they are now starting to get into the business of selling life insurance products. And there's all kinds of different life insurance products. Namely, we're talking about different types of annuities for the most part. And we're not going to sit here and discuss whether annuities are good or bad. Annuities just are. They are a thing. They can be used very well within a portfolio. They can also be sold very wildly incorrectly, and used to the detriment of a client's portfolio, and used really to do a lot of harm, or at least more harm than good. But that's not the point here. The point here is the insurance companies that I've seen, the property and casualty insurance companies I've seen, are now trying to give incentives to their home and auto agents to sell these life insurance products. And they may have a life insurance licensed, but by no means are they qualified to be talking to anybody about their retirement.
Yep. Well, they're also giving, what I've seen at least is they're also giving it like a lines discount or whatnot. So,
yeah,
hey, if you've got your home and auto with us, get a life insurance policy with us also, and we'll give you a little bit of a discount on what your what your package is or whatnot.
Yeah.
Depending on, I'm not saying that they don't need life insurance, but depending on what that coverage looks like and wherever it is, it may not be the best suited thing right now for them. So,
well, jack of trades, master of none, right?
Yeah.
So you certainly don't want, someone who has really built a career and built a life selling home and auto insurance trying to dabble into the life insurance / retirement business, because that is a totally different animal,
right,
with totally different repercussions if something is done incorrectly. So that's why it's very important when we talk about how your insurance salesman is not a licensed fiduciary financial advisor. That's what we mean, because it's okay to screw up a car or home insurance policy. There's minimal negative consequences with that. Maybe you overpaid for a couple of years and you could have gotten a better rate somewhere else. Okay, not the end of the world. You might have lost out on a few $100. All that to say, if you put trust in someone who is not qualified to give advice on a full-scale retirement income plan, and you're just letting the person down the road who's had your home and auto forever for the last 15, 20 years, and he's a great guy. Yeah, sure, I'll let him do my life insurance and retirement too. That's not a recipe of success. That's not a qualified individual that you should be trusting with that type of asset. Right. So,
another thing, I ran into another scenario. This was a few years ago where I was working with a client of mine that is a participant in a retirement plan that was leaving, and they had met with their life insurance person, and they advised that life insurance person wanted them to roll 100% of their retirement savings, what they have saved in that retirement account throughout their entire career, wanted them to roll 100% of that into a fixed annuity. That was, at that point in time, it was only going to pay them like 3 or 3.5% or something.
Ouch.
And
yeah,
and it had a surrender charge. It had surrender charges and everything like that on there. And that's 100% of your money. That and the insurance person says, well, you won't have any market risk. You won't have any market risk at all. But as we've talked about multiple times in the past, there's a whole lot of other risks just besides for market risk that we're eliminating there. So, just going back to what you said about them, they're not fiduciaries in terms of they're not qualified to be able to talk about this space, and let them, you have your insurance salesman for your home and auto talk about your home and auto insurance, and don't allow them to influence you on your retirement.
And I'll even veer into life insurance agents as well, because life insurance agents typically come across or brand themselves as financial advisors. They usually do that under the guise of getting you in and selling you some form of life insurance, whether that's whole life, whether that's annuities, whether that's term life, although usually that's not the case, because that is the cheapest and pays the least amount of commissions. And ultimately that's what we're getting back to. That's kind of the root cause of all this is commissions, right? Because insurance agents, that's how they're paid. They're paid based on commissions. They get paid on the back end based upon the premium or the amount of money that they get you to put into insurance policies with their company. Or if they're an agent, they might work with like an individual or independent agent. They might work with or be licensed with a number of different companies, but the story is still the same. If I'm licensed with X insurance company, and if I sell their products, they're going to pay me a commission. And if you are working with someone who is an employee of X insurance company, and there's a lot of them out there, and they all have really big names, and they all have big fancy buildings in some downtown somewhere. But if you're working with an employee of one of those insurance companies, you're not working with a financial advisor. You're not working with a financial planner. You're just not. They work for an insurance company. There's going to be some level of incentive for them to sell you insurance policies. It's an insurance company. If I work for a widget company, guess what I'm going to try to sell you? I'm going to try to sell you a widget. It is what it is. There's nothing wrong with insurance per se. We're both insurance licensed, by the way. Right. We can sell insurance,
and we do.
I wrote 2 policies last week, but it was also for a fraction of a client's portfolio, and it was more or less something that we had put together when we were constructing a retirement income plan. It was something that was wholly appropriate for their situation, and it was something that was used in conjunction with everything else that we do from an investment and planning standpoint. So it was a small piece of the pie. It was a tool in the toolbox. It was a club in the golf bag, right? All the different analogies that you want to use, but I was not trying to, it wasn't a situation where I've only got a hammer, so everything's a nail.
Right. Yeah, you're not rolling their entire 401k into a fixed annuity.
Yeah. So capable of being able to provide some type of advice on finances and retirement and being qualified to do so are 2 different levels of, what do you want to call it? Responsibility, right? The fiduciary standard is what we call it. Yep. And insurance agents ultimately are not securities licensed. They don't have CFP designations. They don't, they're not required or legally obligated to act as a fiduciary, meaning they're not legally obligated to act ultimately in whatever their client's best interests are.
Right.
There's a difference between suitability and best interest. Suitability is I'm going to write you a policy and I can say in some way, shape, or form this is suitable for your situation. How do you define suitable? There's so many different ways. There's so many different ways to define suitability that aren't really appropriate, right? But when you apply a best interest standard, that's when you get into the fiduciary standard, and that's when it's taking myself out of my position as an advisor, or if you were an insurance salesman or whatever the case may be, and putting myself in the shoes of my client and figuring out, okay, if this was my mother, if this was my sister, if this was my wife, what would I want them to be doing? And that's the best interest standard. What is in the best interest at all times of our clients? And insurance salesmen just don't have to operate in that same capacity. Right. Anything to add there, Aaron?
I would just kind of revisit the fact that, if my pipes are leaking at my house, I'm calling a plumber. If my AC's out, I'm calling an HVAC, heating and air person. If I've got questions on my taxes, I'm calling my CPA. If I've got issues with my insurance, I am going to call my insurance agent, but I'm not going to use my insurance agent as my financial advisor.
Jack of all trades, master of none. I think that's probably the best way to sum up today's episode regarding why insurance salesmen are not financial advisors. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you soon.